the Sylvia Career Podcast, where we have conversations that matter. Before we get to today's conversation, let's recap what we talked about last time. The conversation last time was about self-advocacy, and I shared a few tips here and there which you can employ in your corporate career on how you can advance as you want to gain that experience or gain that exposure that you need in your corporate career. So today's conversation is a little bit different, and we are going to discuss a topic called self-sabotage. And I have guests in the studio. I'm not doing it alone. I'm doing it with my friends, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So I will start with Eve. Would you please introduce yourself?
Thank you so much, Sylvia. My name is Evelyn Koki. I am an organizational development and leadership consultant, and I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Next, Victoria. Go ahead.
Pleasure. Thank you, Sylvia. My name is Victoria Thiga. I work in the development space. I have been working for the last 18 years. I'm a mom of 2. And of course, as a woman, I play so many roles in the society. I have my parents who are dear to me. We take care of our parents, I think, as they age. I am a sibling to, I will say, 3 amazing siblings together with their spouses. I'm a friend. I wear really quite many hats. And it's a pleasure to be here and just have this amazing conversation on self-sabotage with my co-panelists and my co-authors.
Awesome. You mentioned something very important, that we are co-authors. Yes, we have written a book called Self-Sabotage, written by the 10 of us. So for today, we are just going to discuss among ourselves, sharing our experiences and the lived experiences, the lesson learned, and the things that we would like to share with you so that you really don't need to go that detour in your career. We are paying it forward for even the other women so that they don't need to go through their own experience to learn. They can leverage ours to get ahead faster and bring other women on board to advance in their career. So on that note, I am going to throw a question to Evelyn. Yes, Evelyn, while we were writing this book, or rather in your own experience when you're writing Self-Sabotage, what drove you to write about it?
I've been thinking I need to have a conversation with Mr. Dawson and ask, why did he pick my profile? And I think one of the main reasons I need to confirm this is when this year was beginning, I had gone through a breakup. And it's a breakup I should have seen coming because, as we say, self-sabotage, you will see some red flags and then you think they're not so red. You can deal with these ones. Yeah? Right? Like I'm a woman. I'm supposed to fight through, right? And when I finally came to terms with that had happened, I realized, oh my goodness, this one was different. It didn't hurt as I thought it would, like the previous ones. And it's because I'd worked on myself so much. I am so grounded in God and who I am that very few things, actually, I can't remember the last thing that brought me down. And on that note, I realized I need to share this with others. And with my friend Nahash, we decided let's do, it was around Valentine's, so we decided let's do a 5-series write-up on not concentrating on romantic love like we all do. We worship, most of us worship romantic love. But if you work on your relationship with yourself and God, this will just be an addition, not something that you desperately need.
Absolutely.
And so we did a 5-year write-up on what love is, what you should work on, how working on yourself even makes you a better lover and friend, and even good in relationships. Because relationships is work. If you've not worked on yourself, if you go there in self-sabotage, you are going to pay for that. And so I think one of them I posted on LinkedIn. And I think that's why my profile was picked. Because I kept looking at it, I'm like, I'm not so different from all these other women. But I'm glad he did, because That was work I needed to do on myself. I thought I had arrived, but life has a way of telling you you have a
Not
long
yet.
way to go. And writing this book brought that out. And one of the chapters I specifically was dealing with, I will not go into details about what I wrote about, but I'll just do a review. It's how the society fuels self-sabotage.
Uh-huh.
And it does that by the fact that we have all these narratives. They are in with our parents, with our friends, with our media, with everyone around us
Yes.
who tells us how we should be. And if you do not have that clear picture, value, vision for yourself,
Yes.
and the dream you have for yourself,
Yes.
and where you want to be, you will absorb these narratives.
True.
And the worst bit, if you absorb them and they become subconscious,
Yes.
they are the drivers driving every action, every word, every behavior. And before you know it, you become someone completely different. And if something doesn't nudge you back to the path, which for me this book did, is to nudge me back and tell me you've gone off the rails here, come back. If something doesn't do that to you, it's devastating, because you can get to, I don't know what they say, you get to the end of your life and you ask yourself, how did I find myself here? And for me, this is the conversations we need to have with this book. They need to show us that before we get off, we veer off so much, please come back to the path. Yeah, we realize it's not your fault, but healing is.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to heal yourself. And then this is what this book does. And that's why I'm so proud to be part of this group of
Awesome.
absolute good women who have written this book on self-sabotage.
Awesome. You brought out something very, very important, that society shapes how we think and even how we behave.
Absolutely.
And the things that we hear and hear again. Repetition, by the way, forms impression. And the more it is repeated on you, it becomes truth, even when it is a lie.
Exactly.
Yeah, so once it's deposited into your subconscious mind, which we know that the subconscious mind does not know how to say no to anything. It executes that which you have given. So, so clearly, we really need to have a sharper conscious mind, which is able to filter before it gets back.
Exactly.
But how many people fail to filter is listening in and doing nothing about it, ignoring. By the way, when you ignore, you are also taking action. Yeah, anything you just ignore, it is also an action.
It's an action.
Because you are making it permanent in your mind. I love that. And it's very beautiful how you have said the story. Now, let me go to Victoria. Would you please share with us how was your experience and what was the driving beyond being approached to write about self-sabotage? How was it for you?
Well, I think for me, it was not like an aha moment, like it's the small things again that we tend to do on a daily basis. And just as I was sharing with you before, baby, we began the show.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I was afraid to sit with my thoughts, like I was afraid of, that still and quiet moment that would force me to reflect on the many things that have happened in my life. And I felt that, if I get to that moment where it's all quiet and my mind now is forced to, bring out these things to the surface, I probably felt like I did not have the capacity to deal with them. But not knowing that if I don't deal with these things, then I continue to live in the same cycle, you get into a relationship, it doesn't work, and of course it's always the other person's problem, it's never you. Why would it be you? And too perfect, and at work stuff happens, and it's not you, it's everybody else's fault. So we tend to point fingers at everyone else apart from ourselves. And I'm telling you, that is so hard, where you just come out and admit that, what, Victoria, like, you're not perfect. You shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have talked to that person like that. You should have exercised a bit more self-control. Those are the hard truths. And it's really, really very, very, I think for me, that time came, and it was sort of an intervention from God, because I said, like, I really didn't want to sit with my thoughts. And when I take walks, I would put on earphones so that, again, you are blocking off the noise from within, not the outside noise. Like, you don't even hear traffic when you're walking, but the thoughts that are going through your mind, they're so loud, they're shouting. So, we want to have noise around us. That's why people fear being in their own company. Like, you always want to be out there with friends. If you're taking a walk, put on those huge earphones, like our friend over there is putting on. You don't want to listen to yourself. So my ears just refused to accommodate earphones anymore. I started getting sick. Anytime I will put on earphones, I'll have to deal with a horrible ear imbalance, which is like the worst thing in the world. So I started sitting with my thoughts, and I started realizing that there are things that I have missed out,
Yeah.
Am I even aware of who I am? Do I know that I'm in a rant? Do I know that I feel like I'm isolated, like nobody else, no other woman in this in this, who has walked this God's green earth has gone through what I've gone through. And I began thinking seriously, Of course I was approached, but I had the option to choose from 3 other projects,
Yeah.
other book projects, but somehow this self-sabotage, I even, and then, it's such a provocative topic, because every time when you hear self-sabotage, you're like, why are you shooting yourself in the foot? So I wasn't even comfortable with the title, and I was like, probably right, then maybe convince the publisher with my co-authors to change the the topic of the book, because it really sounds, like you're messing yourself up. But I think through that writing, I began to see why this is such a nice topic. And every time I tell people that, there's a book called Self-Sabotage, and I'm a contributing author, they're like, self-sabotage. Wow, that is so powerful,
I know.
Yeah, so I think that's how I got to that space where I felt I had to write so that I'm more comfortable with it.
Yes.
Because I also felt the need to, document those things, because also writing is very therapeutic,
True that.
It's just a way of you putting on paper, and it's sort of a relief. Like you've lightened the burden. Literally, I felt like I have put a load down.
Yeah.
So that's how I got to that point, Sylvia.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. And I'm so glad that we actually met and wrote our pieces together.
Yeah.
For my own story, it was very interesting because I love to write. I have written for a very long time, but I've never had it out. Some are journals, some are plays, some are poems, things like that. But 2 years ago, I actually wrote in a vision board that I'm going to write a book. And then, so when I wrote in my vision board, the way you just put things vividly,
Yeah.
and then you don't know how. I had no idea the how. The thing is, I knew I'm writing a book, and I didn't know the nitty-gritties.
Yeah.
Then, strangely enough, I knew what I want to write about. I'm not going to say the others, but for this specific part of self-sabotage, I actually wanted to write the entire book myself. But then God, in his own ways, message from Doso. We are accepting project. We are doing project and accepting chapters from. So if you are okay with it, we will send you the projects that are currently being written.
Yeah.
And then you can choose one to participate on. All of them were juicy. They were so nice because it talked about real things that we have all experienced. But somehow I said, I haven't seen self-sabotage anywhere else. And if there is a book that needs to go out right now, it's self-sabotage.
Yeah.
So that is how I just decided to pick that part. But the writing part has always been there. The nudge has been there.
Yeah.
Writing and putting it aside, and then So it's interesting how when the student is ready, the teacher appears. That
Oh,
was
yes,
literally for me
Yeah,
because I was ready, and then the publisher came. So that is my own story about this. And you notice that in our story, we have just explained the why.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're following our conversation closely. We've just talked about the why self-sabotage.
Yeah.
And many of us don't know that we're actually participating in self-sabotage. So I'll come back to you, Eve. Would you please share how did you get to know that you're actually participating in getting in your own way?
Okay. I'm trying to think how far back I should go.
As far as you would want.
You should have given us some of these questions before. I would say one that came out really, that brought it out was, of course, there's always that voice that tells you, here, you could have done better. You didn't need to do that. You're holding your potential back. But to hear it from someone else, now that's a whole different ballgame.
Yes.
And I remember when I was doing my master's in USIU, I met an incredible group of people. And we would meet, have dinner, and then have conversations. And our conversations were very real. In one of those conversations, we decided we are going round. Everyone is going to say something they admire about everyone else and where they should improve.
Okay.
And for me, we were a group of 5. Every single one of them said, it's like you don't know your potential. You don't realize how much more you can do. And I will never forget, probably they've forgotten these conversations, but I have never forgotten that one. I'm like, what do they mean? I don't know my potential. What is it that I'm not doing that I should be currently doing?
Wow.
And back then I was working for an engineering firm. And I felt it. I felt like this company was too structured for my creativity and my potential. And I always felt like, there's so much more I can do. And I remember in one of, USIU was big for me. We had one of those classes, the lecturer asked us to do a leadership plan. And in this leadership plan, you're supposed to plan your life for 5-10 years. And when I sat down to do that, because I love thinking, and I overthink, which is a bad thing sometimes. But I also I love being by myself. I'm not like, I love, like when I hang out with people a lot, I need to retreat and just be by myself. And so I took that assignment seriously. Like I sat down and thought about it, and I realized, oh my goodness, I don't want to be in employment. I really do not want to fight through corporate ladder. That could be another reason for self-sabotage. Maybe I didn't think I'm worth, or I have the potential to, and the skills to navigate all the politics that come with it. I realized I need something that is diverse, something that will bring out my creative juices. Like most of you, I loved writing. And so for me, that was the moment I realized I am not doing all that I need to be doing. And they say potential, when you don't bring it out, it becomes a wound, right? It harms you.
Yes.
And it's not until now, where I am doing so many things at the same time, that I've realized this is what I was missing out on. I was constraining myself to a path that was no longer serving me. That had come to an end.
True that.
And that was one of the ways I realized, oh my, I need to do more. I've been self-sabotaging myself. I've been holding myself back.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. Now you've mentioned very important things. Community.
Yes.
Many of us
absolutely, I believe
only get to move because we have somebody who is able to hold our hands and tell us, look, Evelyn, you're sitting on your potential. And somebody had to do that to you.
Yes.
And that's the whole aspect, the whole reason why we are here. We also want you, who is listening to us, to hear it from us that whenever you have the opportunity to be in a community, make the most out of it, or make the most out of it. Because without a person holding your hand, yes, you will still move, but you will take so long at a higher cost. So when you leverage other people's experiences, whenever they talk to you about something and you take it seriously and go and sit with your thoughts, you're able to reflect deeper and be able to bring yourself back to where. And some decisions are also made in those moments, and they are very important decisions. I love that aspect that you've brought, that somebody helped you.
Yeah, yeah.
So let me share my own, and then we'll go to Victoria.
Okay.
So for me, what I got to, at the point which I got is I felt like there is more to life than what I'm currently doing. And I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. Yeah. Somehow I just got uncomfortable, but I didn't know the how and when and where. Then I realized that there are coaches out here. Yeah, there are coaches out here that can help you navigate. So for me, I decided to do some coaching courses, pretending I'll coach myself, you know.
You can always try.
To some extent, then,
Yes,
then the accountability part will miss. So, so there's this lady coach that I've been following for quite a while on LinkedIn. Yeah, her name is Rebecca. I know, Rebecca, you listen to this episode. Yeah, so when I approached her, well, rather when she was sharing, I approached her via DM and asked her, what does she does and whether she could, whether I could join her programs. And for me, when I joined that coaching program, which was a community, it was not one-to-one, it was a group coaching program. That coaching program really opened my eyes. That is where I was able to piece, so this and this is going on because 1, 2, 3, 4 is happening. So sometimes that's why there are moments where people have unconscious self-sabotage. For me, I didn't know I was self-sabotaging. I thought self-sabotaging is very obvious.
Yeah.
The things like you're cutting your hand physically, like how would you just do that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that it's also patterns and the narratives and self-limiting beliefs that we've believed on, and the truths that we picked from people which were not necessarily true. You know, the way you hear somebody tell you things, they tell you over and over again until it becomes your reality.
Yes.
That's also happens, and that also stems from our upbringing and all that. Some of these things play out in how we act when we are adults. So that was my experience. I don't know about yours, Victoria.
Well, very interesting when you talk about our upbringing, because in my work, in my line of work, I am a gender practitioner, or rather I, seek to address, understand, identify and address the barriers that actually hinder women, and I'm a woman. So I'm a case study. On my own, I took myself as a case study where I started looking at, and these barriers stem from different things. They are what we call the interpersonal barriers, intrapersonal, where things that you do yourself, and this is where self-sabotage comes in. And then there is the interpersonal, the relationship that we have with you. You could make a comment about me and I'll feel like, kumbe my hair wasn't looking that nice, because Sylvia and Evelyn commented, so it must be true.
Yeah.
Yet when I left the house and I used the mirror, I was very confident that the moment I got out of the house, I meet people and they tell me, that pink is not your color,
Yeah.
And then, of course, there the society, as Evelyn so rightfully put it, and the institutions that also reinforce all these barriers that hinder women, as the book title says, things that hinder women from progressing, So for me, I think I've always been the vocal one. I think if you sat with my parents, by the way, when you go, there's this joke that goes around, like a husband finds their wife's certificate when they were their living certificate, and it's written, she was quiet and obedient, and he's thinking,
which one?
What happened between then and now?
Who are they referring to? So sometimes I do meet people who are like, you're this way. Okay, my personality really stands out, but it can be so, much more.
Yeah.
But in that quiet where I sat, remember I talked about sitting quietly with my thoughts. I started looking at the things that I had done to contribute to one. There's a time when I was out of work. Of course, I did not resign. So what did I do to contribute to that situation?
Yeah.
You know, and you know, a relationship that I had lost or gotten out to, and I'm like, what did I do to contribute to that situation? Because we never want to ask ourselves those questions. So I stopped blaming other people and I started realizing, you know, this is the way God made me. You know, I'm very opinionated and I push my opinions, you know, because I don't believe that I should be quiet and yet literally somebody is stepping on my foot, you know. So, but there is a way of regulating because again, we have to survive in society. You have to be strategic even in the way you interact with people. So there is always that balance between, you know, what is really my fault, I will put it in quotes, and what is the society's responsibility in all this, you know. So for me, again, I would say it was never an aha moment. It's a journey. To date, I'm still discovering things that I do on a daily basis because, you know, I have teenage children. And the other day, one of my kids told me I'm nonchalant. I'm still trying to understand what that is. I had to Google. That's what they said. They said I'm nonchalant. So, like, I'm not bothered.
I'm not bothered
you
by
know,
things,
I'm
by
not
stuff.
bothered by stuff. Like, you just look so unbothered, you know, by things. And I'm like, that's a good thing, you know.
Yeah.
But then again, my other preteen daughter told me that, you know, Mom, you can't work with teenagers because teenagers, they don't like being talked to. So, you know, it's an everyday journey. You have to sit down every day. Now I've learned how to sit down every day. I'm no longer afraid of the peace and quiet and the stillness. I do it every day. I reflect because this is not a project where you do a baseline, a midline, and an end line. Like you have to, you know, reconcile your thoughts and emotions on a daily basis.
Yes.
Before it builds up. You know, you talked about wounds. And sometimes some of these internal wounds, they form over time.
Yes.
But if you know, if you deal with the small bits, then you won't have to deal with the cracks. You know? You won't have to deal with a broken wall because you covered the crack in time. So for me, I'll say that it is still a journey that I'm living. I think right now I can do volume 2 of this book because I've already discovered a couple of other things. And learning to be gentle with yourself and to forgive yourself. Because, you know, like when you talk about self-sabotage, literally you're pointing the finger at yourself, you know, and you're saying, I didn't do this right. But I was telling Sylvia earlier that, you know, mistakes are the fabric of life. That's the texture. Because life is like a fabric. So those that we call mistakes, those missteps that we do, that's the texture.
Exactly.
And if you remove the texture from this cloth, it is no longer what it was. So it's literally you erase yourself. You know, you just end up erasing who you are. You become something totally different. So I think it's a journey. It's not, I don't even expect any reader to read this book and put it down and say, you know, now I'm done. I know what self-sabotage is and now I can deal with it headstrong, you know. It's something that we have to address on a daily basis. And I think that's one of the self-sabotaging habits of human beings. We do not reflect on a daily basis. And I think going back to the Bible, you know, when God was creating the earth, he would do an evaluation at the end of each day. He would sit and look at the creation and say, you know,
it was good.
This was good. You know? So why as human beings we think this is a quarterly review? I don't know.
Or annual review.
We are
Yes,
made.
annual review.
Yeah, you're right. You know, in January you write all this, what are they called?
Resolutions.
In
Yes.
January. And then at the end of the year or half of November is when you're like, oh my God, I was supposed to work out every day. You know, but if you review your resolutions on a daily basis, then yeah, so I think that's the journey. That's what self-sabotage for me means. That's how the journey is going. I wouldn't say it began and ended. That's how the journey is going.
You have mentioned something very important about in this fabric, these the mistakes or missteps are textures. And it has reminded me how people say I learned the hard way. I don't agree with that statement. Why? Looks like you are feeling pain that you actually learned. Yeah, that's how it sounds. But if you say I know better, now way forward, I have more experience and I'm wiser.
Yeah.
It also draws it. There's a way it gives you a particular mindset.
Yeah.
Like you'll be even willing to continue learning because it has given you a positive thing. But when you talk about I learned it the hard way, you will be afraid of taking steps because you don't want to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
Who wants hard things? Nobody. Yeah. So the textures that makes the fabric are actually the lessons that we need in life. And I remember, Victoria, we were talking a while ago. We talked about sometimes that there are experiences that we don't understand. And sometimes when you want to write them down, we feel like I'm yet to heal from here. So this is the aspect where we are talking about. When we were writing about self-sabotage, we are not writing the pains out of spite or things. We are just coming from a place of, now we know better and we would like you to leverage this experience, see how we are seeing the good in the lessons we have gone through. They might have been painful experiences, yes, but there is a great lesson that we would like to share. And now that we connect a lot of the things, there's something I like to say, that we connect the dots in retrospect all the time.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And Victoria, you mentioned that life is lived.
Life is lived forwards, but it is best understood backwards in retrospect.
Yes. So that is
beautiful.
Yes. So that is something that you need to know. And even as you continue, if you experience the self-sabotage, the thing is, now I know, so what? You cannot wallow in your sadness.
Yeah.
Like, now I know I'm sabotaging myself. I'm not so good. The way we were talking about stopping pointing fingers at people, and looking inward. But when you look inward, let's not stay there too much that it becomes also poisonous. There's a danger of looking so much inward and blaming yourself out of situations that have come in the past, and then you become paralyzed and you don't want to move. So it's a delicate balance right there. That yes, I made a mistake, I own it, it was mine, but now I know better. So that will help us in the next move, in our next move. I know you've said quite a lot there.
Yes.
Would you like to add?
I would love to start with the part when she said, be gentle with yourself. A while back, I read a book. It's called Like She Owns the Place. And the writer, I can't remember her name, she said something very beautiful. Everything I read from that book, I've completely forgotten except for this bit. She said, you have to love your flaws. And then from that place, now then change them. And I remember thinking, okay, let me see how that works. And I've realized it's such a beautiful thing. I look at my problems, I look at my self-sabotages, I look at all the mistakes that are supposed to be bad and painful, and I look at them and I love them. Because had I not made those mistakes, just to add on what Victoria said, I will not be this person I am today. This version of me will not exist. And so it was painful, yes, and I'm not negating that bit, but it was also a good thing. And as the Bible says, all works for your good. I actually believe that no matter how painful an experience is, I don't waste my pain. Yes, I am feeling pain here, but what is it, this situation, what is it here to teach me? And so I sit with it and I understand. And from the place of love, we operate, because I always say you're either operating on two, fundamentally, if you go deep into everything that you do, every decision, you're either operating from love or fear. So if it's from fear, you will feel bad and you'll be like, now what did I do? I'm such a bad person. But from love, you'll be like, okay, I'm human. And to be human is to err. So I've made a mistake, which definitely defines who I am. And because I've made this mistake, I'm going to love this mistake and understand what I can learn from this mistake. And yes, that I support that. Be gentle with yourself through this process. Life is self-sabotage and being human is a long life journey. And none of us is going to get out of this alive. And so, I mean, if you are not okay with that, if you're not okay with who you are and accepting, you're definitely going to fall. And then as much as we are now written books about self-sabotage, we are going to self-sabotage ourselves, by the way.
Still, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, we are. But what I like about it now is that I have a voice. Like the other day, I was about to post something and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm putting myself out there. So I write poems as well. So I'm like, I'm putting this out here. I'm going to be judged. And then I realized, oh, that's the voice. Familiar voice. You've come up. Okay, I hear you. I know what you're trying to do. But I'm going to post this poem anyway. And now that's the beauty of self-awareness.
Yes.
You get to feel that voice. You get to understand, okay, this is you warning me or self-sabotaging me again. But I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to post it. And also, I don't think it's you, Sylvia, or Victoria, that talked about repetition. And the more you repeat that, the more this voice gets muted. And before you know it, it's no longer there. But it is a process. Like she said, Victoria said, it is a process.
Yes.
And what I love about the Bible, and it's something she mentioned, I also want to add, is she said sometimes you'll say, oh, this is how I was created. I was very big on that, by the way. When I was a teenager, this is how I was created. I'm like, what? I'm like that. So what do you want me to do about it? Go talk to my creator. Have a conversation with him. This is not on me.
He has the manual.
He has the manual. But then we realized, at the end of the day, we were given autonomy. You have power of choice.
Yes.
That's what I love about God. He loves us enough to trust us with the power of choice.
Yes.
You have the choice to choose what you're going to do about every particular situation. I don't care what everyone else is doing. It is true, some people can push us to certain choices and direction. I agree. But you always have, before you react, someone says before the action and before the reaction, therein lies your power.
Yes.
What are you going to do about it? And the other day I was doing a leadership program in church about personalities. And at the end of all that, they said something very beautiful. They said, Jesus had all these personalities. He knew when to be gentle.
Yes.
He knew when to be kind. He knew when to overturn tables. And if we rely on our Creator, as Victoria said, He's willing to help us through.
Absolutely.
To be able to balance our personalities, to know when to not self-sabotage, when to realize, here I need to tone my personality down. To realize here I can amplify my voice because we are in a society and situations are different. And you can't say, this is who I am, everyone else has to deal with you. Yeah, you have to.
In fact, that is also self-sabotage.
Thank you. Exactly.
It is,
yeah, you can't. I know some people who say, oh, I tell the truth. You deal with it. I'm like, sometimes the truth without tact is cruelty. Just being cruel. Yeah. If I come, Simon Sinek gives a very good example. He says he went to watch a friend perform a play, and it was so horrible. It was so bad.
I listened to that.
Really, I'll find it. And then it was really, really bad. And she came out of the stage. She's so excited. Like, how did you like it? How was it? Then he's like, now, let's say I'm a very honest person and I want to tell her the truth. Is that the right time to tell her the truth? Absolutely not. So what he did, he said, oh, the setup was nice. Oh, the decor was amazing. Oh, the crew were perfect. Talked about everything else and left that bit out. And so now, moments later, after, the adrenaline had cooled down, she's fine. He has now a conversation with her. And he's like, oh, by the way, I know this coach, you can actually benefit from that. And that way you get to help someone, but also help them improve at the same time. You just don't say I'm a person who tells the truth and destroy someone in the process. And again, I'm coming back to ourselves. That's how you should deal with yourself. You should sometimes realize, in as much as I want to improve, maybe this is not the right moment to improve. Or maybe there's a right moment to do that. And you can have a conversation with someone, and I am big on community. I always believe I could not be here if I had not had all these people in my life who've helped me.
Wow.
And I always have one person I can always call and say, okay, this is what I did today. Tell me. Like, yeah, you should not have done that. You should not have done that. But let's start with, why did you think it was right to do that? And then you get to process this thing that you've done. Let's say I came here and said, like Victoria was saying, oh, pink is not good on her. And then you're like, okay, why did you say that? Why did you think it's your place to be? Let's even start there. Did you think it's your place to say that? And what was your intention behind it? Because sometimes if you look at it again, it will be, oh, maybe I loved I dressed so much, and I was like, I would really want it for myself. So you see, you're just being a mean person. Let's be open. Then you're like, oh, okay, I am a mean person. I need to work on that. Yeah, what do I do from tomorrow? When I feel that thing coming, how do I react? Yeah, and I teach children, and I always tell them one thing. Always pray the prayer that Peter prayed when he was sinking. He realized, hey, nikubaya.
Save me.
God save me. Jesus save me.
Yeah.
So usually
I
that's
trust
my
you, Lord,
yes,
but-
yes. Usually that's my go-to prayer. Okay, I feel like I'm about to overreact. You can feel it when it's coming,
you
right?
do.
And then I'm like, oh, okay, please Jesus help me. Please help me, because I know left to my own devices, I am going to blow this situation out of proportion, and I'm going to self-sabotage myself, and it's going to take months to heal
From that.
and move out of this situation. So yeah, I think that's my contribution.
Wow. I love the fact that we're saying self-sabotage is not ending.
Oh no.
Just like imposter syndrome, I know there's many people have written about imposter syndrome. So self-sabotage is the same. The more you move and the more you have other experiences, it keeps rearing its ugly head, and you have to be aware that this is a situation, and there's a better way of handling it.
Absolutely.
So that kind of, when you are experiencing the self-sabotage, just know it's a journey. It is not a destination, and it's not the end of life. It's not a life sentence. Yeah, it's not a life sentence. It is an experience.
Yes.
An experience. There are lessons learned, and then there are some lessons are not meant even for us only. Like, I'm sure all of us wrote this not for ourselves. It is for others.
Yeah.
And I love what you've talked about community. If there is anything that community does, is to keep you in check.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah, I'm sure the 10 of us that wrote this book, we will, way forward, we will just be sharing these notes. We did not write everything, as I said. Not everything that we know as is being put in the book. So, Victoria, I'd like to come to you. Is there any specific thing that you would like to share that we do not include in the book, but you would like somebody to learn from, even so that they know that if Victoria went through this and I'm going through it now, I can come out successfully?
Well, I think I wanted to give this chapter a faith perspective. And initially, I even had Bible verses quoted there. But I thought, people go through difficult seasons in their lives, and there are times when you just don't want to hear about faith and what it does. But to be honest, just like Evelyn mentioned, it was also a faith journey. It was a point where I had to go back to my maker and ask him, like, are you the one? Is this app in me faulty? Is there a faulty setting? Is there a faulty setting that I have that makes me behave in a certain way, that makes me self-sabotage? So that was a very, very real moment for me. And I had to walk that journey to go back to my maker God and ask him, what was your intention? You know, this could be a gift, but it is also causing me a lot of maybe harm or pain, or it's just making the life that I want, you know, not the life that he wants for me, but the life that I want for myself is very difficult because of this particular faulty setting that you put in me, you know. Can you readjust? Can you just make me, you know, like especially for me, I don't think I'm ever short of words. That's something. So I've always asked myself, you know, James, in the book of James, it says you should, you know, like not, you know, talk so much or, you know, control. And I keep asking God, like, isn't this something that you can just do? Like, you just tell me, okay, higher, from today you'll not be saying so many words. And then he also told me, this is how you earn your living. You're a trainer. You talk the whole day. I can do a 5-day training and not get tired because my mind generates the content, you know? So I think, as you said, Sylvia, it's a very delicate balance, you know, just trying to find out, you know, like, when am I self-sabotaging and when am I actually walking in purpose? So it's an everyday thing again. It's not something that I have you know, like, completely resolved. And now that I have written a book on self-sabotage, that now I know this is the do's and don'ts of life. No, it's something that I go back to God every day and I ask him, you know, before you even go to your friends, to your community, you go back to your maker, because he's the one who knows you.
Yes.
He's the one who knows why today you chose, you know, we were asking how comes you're wearing the same color palette.
I know, right?
And we didn't consult.
Exactly,
He's the one
yeah.
who directed me even to wear this pink that other people may not like on me. But then I know I look good in this
You
dress.
definitely
I know,
do.
I
You
do.
do. I can confirm that.
You do.
However, you know, there are things that are beyond our control, and that stems from the fact that we were put in this world, just like the trees and the rivers and the ocean. We came from this world. We did not come into this world. We came from the earth. And our as human beings, we should actually emulate the rest of nature. And why I say that is because thinking about the trees, a tree, when it's dry, when it's extremely dry, it sheds off everything. And you know, it looks funny because it's like it's naked. It's just there, no leaves, and people are thinking it's about time you became firewood. But the tree knows what it's doing. It's preserving itself. It has retreated because it's off season, and it's also adopting to that season. You know. So the Bible talks about being fruitful in all seasons. And that tree, during that season when it's self-preserving, when it has retreated to itself, shed off the leaves, which are, you could probably say the leaves are like, you know, temporary friends. And, you know, in the aspect of a human being, it sheds off some of the branches, which are even some of the relatives around you. But it never loses its roots, you know? So I feel like it's important for us to be very aware of who we are, what season we are in, and what we need to do in every season. I dare say the plants that we have here in studio are not representative of life, because no one is green permanently. No one is, you know, and that's humans. Like, the reason why we have creatively come up with this all-season green plants is because we want to be that plant where you're always green and always thriving and always, you know, flourishing. You never miss a day in your life. There's no day when you get out of your house and you're told, you know, you don't look nice. You know, you're not performing. You know, you always want to be green, but that's not nature. That's not the reality. Everything, even the rivers, they have seasons when water sinks under to preserve something, and the riverbed is dry. The ocean retreats and then it comes back. And you put it so rightly, Evelyn, that it is in that period that you have your power. That's when your power actually, there's a lot of power in stillness, because at that time, nature is still. And human beings, we are so bent towards, we want to never lose a step. We never want to look like we are not doing well. And that's just not natural.
Yeah.
So I have had my seasons where I have retreated, where I have sat back, and I am absolutely doing nothing. I am not chasing a project. I'm not looking for consultancies. I have even had periods where I am jobless, but I'm in the house and I'm sitting. It doesn't mean that I'm not ambitious, but it's my season to rest. In fact, I tell people, when you lose a job, God wants you to rest. Maybe He saw this job is going to give you a heart attack,
My
or
goodness.
diabetes at the age of 40, or high blood pressure. So He retreated you. But we feel like, well, this is not what, like, I should be doing something. Restlessness is not a good character trait.
It is a
It
self-sabotaging
is a
behavior.
self-sabotaging behavior.
Yes.
And I've not adequately talked about the importance of stillness and rest in this particular book. And the amazing thing, and why I can sit here and talk about rest today, is because it has always worked out. When I talked about living life forward, but understanding it backwards.
Yes.
I have spent seasons when I'm not earning income, but I have always paid the school fees, paid the rent, educated, fed my children, and I've never had to make any serious adjustments just to live. So I feel like I have always had what I need. And even today, I wouldn't drop everything and not trust God to carry me. So I think here, things that I've not talked about in this book that I want listeners to know is about surrender to your Maker. Rest. Be fruitful in the season. If it is a dry season, be fruitful. You will not be turned into firewood. So I think those are the things that I will probably do in a volume 2 of this book, maybe titled differently, but yes, self-sabotage, or maybe after self-sabotage, what next?
What's next after here?
Our publisher, Mr. Dosso, will tell us, what next after self-sabotage. So just coming back, 5 years from now, or maybe even in 2 years, and documenting things that now you are addressing in life. So those are the things that I've not captured in this book, and I'm very passionate about telling people that you need to learn the art of surrender. That is an art. It is an art. It is not something that you bump into and you say that I've surrendered. It is an art.
I love what you've said. So it means each time we need to detach ourselves from the outcomes of anything that we are doing. Because the more we get attached in, we self-sabotage.
In fact, Sylvia, let me just add and say, when we ask what is life, life is not comprised of the activities that we have set to do. If I am not doing anything, if I was not doing this podcast and I'm just lying somewhere, I'm still alive. Life is not the set of activities that we do. That's not life, At the end of the day, you have a right, everyone has a right to be here. The day you were born, you have already achieved something. You have achieved your purpose. So tirelessly working ourselves and exhausting our bodies and our minds, trying to achieve things that society expects of us, or those things that we think are important to us. I don't think that actually is life.
It's not. It's chasing things.
Chasing things and deadlines.
Chasing things and deadlines. So to you, Evelyn.
Wow. Okay. It's amazing how much we have in common. Because for me, my motto these days is surrender and detachment.
Yes.
And I can say there was life before I learned those two things and my life after. Now, when it comes to detachment, I don't attach myself to results. If I am writing this book, my work is very simple.
Yeah.
Give my very best.
Absolutely.
Do the best I can do with this book. How that book performs out there or how people perceive it is not on me.
Wow.
I had to learn that. I'm doing a series of articles on LinkedIn. Before I could not post anything. I'm like, my goodness, if it gets one like, I'm gonna die. Now, my work is to do that write-up article, send it out. Whether it gets likes or not, my work is done. It's done.
I love that.
And this comes with surrender. For me, those two things are attached. You can't have one without the other. Because if you don't surrender to okay, because being a Christian, I believe there's something, particular thing that I'm supposed to do in this earth that no one else is going to do it. And I tell children, don't compare yourself with anyone. Because if your fingerprints,
Yes.
something as minute as your fingerprint is different. We don't have, how many years that this world existed, we don't have anyone who has similar fingerprints with the other person. Never. If we are that uniquely made, how am I going to compare myself to Victoria or to Sylvia?
Again,
On what
self-sabotaging
basis?
behavior.
Yeah,
Comparison.
self-sabotaging, yes. So you have to surrender to the fact that I am unique. I was created for a certain purpose. If I'm writing this book, there's a way I'm going to write that no one else will be able to.
Exactly.
If I'm articulating this point, I'm going to articulate it differently. Victoria is going to articulate differently. You're going to articulate differently. And I'm going to play my part. I'm here to play a part. I saw a clip on IG, I think, and it was talking about why people write poem. And they're like, you write poem because life is meant to be lived in creativity, in fun, and you're here to contribute even a verse to this world's chapter of whichever one you're living in currently, the way she's saying in your season. And yeah, that for me it is, I am contributing to my season. And I'll do my best I can in whatever season. Victoria's brought season very well. In whatever season I'm in. If it's my season to bear fruit, I'm going to bear the best fruit I can.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm going to leave the rest. If it's my season to shed leaves, I'm going to shed all of them. All of them. And wait, trusting and believing it's going to rain again.
Wow.
And my leaves are going to come back. And those two things, it's liberating.
Wow.
It's really liberating when you realize it's not all on you. You don't have to carry the world of the weight of the world on your shoulders. You don't even need to carry yourself. He tells us his yoke is easy. And when Jesus said my yoke is easy, that's what he meant. I have equipped you for the work that I brought you into this world to do. Yours is to trust and to surrender and to believe that I have given you and to ask. It says ask for wisdom. Whoever wants wisdom, ask. Whoever wants knowledge, understanding.
Yes.
Whatever, I equip skills. It says I'll give you skills and abilities. So that is your work. You ask, believe you've received it, do your honest part.
Yes.
Now forget about the rest. Yeah, how it's going. They say plant, let him do the watering, the rain, and everything else. Yeah. Come back, prune where you need to prune, and then continue. That has been key in my life. And as women, especially us as women, that's a concept we need to learn. We believe sometimes, even when it comes to home, I see my mother up to date. The way she can't even rest. Victoria was talking about rest. She would be like, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to... I'm like, at some point you have to say, you know what, can I put my feet up and rest? We are so, it's part of self-sabotage. We believe if I'm rest, I am letting someone down. I'm wasting, I'm wasting time. I'm letting someone down. The society needs me to be doing this and this. Detach from all that.
Yes.
Do your best and leave the rest. You have to take care of yourself. And taking care of yourself is taking care of the rest, because if you fall apart, and whatever purpose that God brought you to do in this earth, you're not able to accomplish it, then you've let God down and you've let the society down.
Absolutely.
Because whatever we were meant to do was meant to be a benefit to humanity.
Yes.
Us writing this book is supposed to help others.
Yes.
And Victoria brought nature and said, if there's something about nature, they don't do anything for themselves. You
True
see
that.
a tree, it does not provide its own shade.
At all. And it doesn't eat its own fruits.
Doesn't eat its own food. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So these fruits are meant for us. So you have to
others, yeah.
live not only for yourself, but for others as well.
Absolutely.
And for me, that's what life is.
Wow. It's been amazing. It's been amazing how we have just had this awesome conversation. And there are many things, of course, we've mentioned about self-sabotage, which are not necessarily compressed in this 200 pages book. There are more lessons. There's more to life than chasing deadlines.
Yes.
Yeah, because the more you chase things, the more you lose. And as we were having a conversation earlier with Victoria, we said that, be sure that you're chasing the right thing, because if you're chasing the wrong thing, you might find that it was where you left it. Yeah. So be sure to
that's a
be
good one.
chasing the right thing. So, and there are many things we've talked about that we do to frustrate. Like, you have time to rest, a job loss. It's a real experience. Not so long ago, I went through the same. Actually, last year myself, and in those seasons, there are expectations that people have on you. So if you really are not grounded on where you're headed, you will self-sabotage by following what the tide or what people want you to be like.
Yeah.
There are people who feel that you need to look for another job after a loss. They don't know what you're processing. They feel like, no, how will this and that happen? And they don't know that God, in his own beautiful nature, desired that you rest from this season. For this season, the way we said, when you know your season, by the way, you will not self-sabotage.
No,
you will
will
go
not.
through that season wholly in it, giving your best. And then when you give your best, you will understand. Again, living the life backwards, connecting the dots in retrospect of what we've talked about. So I'm glad we've really talked about self-sabotage in our own way and a very different way. And to our readers who will get to read this book. By the way, let me just show it, how it looks like. So those who are yet to see a copy of the book, this is how the book looks like, and I encourage you to get a copy for yourself. You can reach to any of us, and we will let you know how to get it. We will leave our addresses. It shall be projected at the screen so that you can, and also the way of obtaining a copy. If you'd like an autographed one, you would reach out to Evelyn differently. You will reach out to me also differently, or Victoria differently. Of course, self-sabotage is one of those things that we felt it's never been discussed enough, and that's why we were having this deep conversation with ourselves. And with that, I would like to request Victoria to give your closing remarks, and then also Evelyn, and we call it a podcast for today.
All right, so thank you, Sylvia. Thank you so much for the invite. I really enjoyed having this conversation with you and Evelyn, and just knowing that, that you're in a community of other people who have gone through the same things that you're probably going through. And I think I just want to point out something that I've written in my chapter about pain isolates, but perspective unites. When you look at life in a wider perspective and realize that, first of all, I'm a human being. Second of all, I am a woman. And it is very likely that the same experiences that other women have are the same experiences that I will go through. And just speaking about those and reaching out to other people, for me, that's just powerful. So I know each and every woman, our listeners, our readers, is going through something. And I want to encourage each and everyone to find a community, listen to other women's stories so that you can connect, because having that perspective helps you to be gentle on yourself. It helps you to understand that you're part of a bigger thing, and that that which you have gone through, as we called it, either the pain or the mistakes that you have done, don't judge yourself too harshly. Enjoy the journey, because life for sure is short. So enjoy the journey, and the only way that you can enjoy the journey is one, knowing who you are. Be gentle with yourself. Learn to forgive yourself quickly. Don't sit in the wallow and condemn yourself, because the world is already judgmental enough.
Oh, yes.
So if you add yourself to that list of the people who are contributing to your own downfall, then it's just one more person judging you, and more pressure coming from within. And that's how people collapse, because there's the pressure coming from all sides. So just an encouragement to our listeners, our readers: you have permission to live. You have permission to dream. You have permission to be authentic.
Yes.
And being authentic is not something that you search for. I want to just comment on what Sylvia, we were talking about the book Alchemist, of this young man who took a journey to find something. And by the time when he reached at the end of the book, he arrives and he's looking for this treasure, only to realize that the treasure is back home. Yet he had made a very long journey. So what is it that you're looking for? Your authentic self is who you are when you strip off everything that you have imposed on yourself, that society has imposed on yourself, on you. That is your authentic self. So authenticity is not something that you go looking for. It's something that you come back to. And
Beautiful.
I think what I want to just, my parting shot is, come back home to yourself. Come back home to your authentic self.
Absolutely.
That's where the peace is. That's where the progress is. That's where the goodness is.
Oh, yes.
And if you can find, because you want to come back to a good place. So come back home to yourself. Yeah.
Wow, what a powerful. And come back home to yourself.
I mean, she's taken those words right out of my mouth.
Oh, my. Go on.
You are, if I was to tell someone, I would say, you are going to live with you for the rest of your life.
Yes.
And your primary duty, your main duty, is to make sure that home that you have for the rest of your life, that you're coming back to, it's conducive enough and it's comfortable enough. And the only way you can do that is accepting all the parts.
Yes.
Sometimes most of us live fragmented. And you will go to work, ask, how is Victoria? You'll be given a version of Victoria at work. Go to church, how is Victoria? Another version of Victoria. Come to podcast, how is Victoria? A different version. And people think that when I do these things, I am protecting myself. They call it, I'm creating boundaries. There's a place for boundaries. I'm not disputing that.
Agree.
But you cannot put boundaries within yourself and who you are.
Yes.
So what Victoria is saying by come back home, she means recollect yourself.
Yes.
Bring all these parts, even the ones, especially the ones that you don't love, or the ones that you think are a bad thing. Like what she said, and when she was talking, I'm listening, I'm like, the same thing you're calling a problem, they're speaking too much, the same thing that is earning you your income. So if you tell God to take it away, what are you supposed to do with your life? Yeah, Victoria?
You are ripping off the texture from your fabric.
Exactly.
So you have nothing left.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for me, it's not forget about your flaws. It's about bringing them in and polishing them. Because if there are flaws, most of them, the things we call flaws are also the things that help in our lives in one way or the other.
Yes.
So bringing yourself home is bringing all these fragmented parts of yourself and making them feel at home.
Yes.
And then from that place, now you get to change them and shape them. And you cannot do this without God. For me, I think I know you cannot do it alone. You need God. And when you invite God into your mess, He has a way of making it very beautiful and very useful. Like there is no experience, no pain that you've gone through that cannot be used to better your life, one, and to better the life of others.
Oh my goodness.
If you went through it, there is a purpose for it. And so make sure you understand that. So sit with it, accommodate it, ask God for wisdom. He will show you what it was meant for. And before you know it, you're living a very amazingly beautiful life that you had no idea you could. And it was not about chasing things that you guys have talked about. That it's about grounding yourself in who you are and accepting yourself in who you are and realizing everything else is, you're the sky. I usually like saying that you're the sky, everything else is weather. So, and weather season can be bad, can be good, but you can live in that peace that surpasses all understanding.
Amen.
And you can be happy and grounded. Joy, let me not use happiness, let me say joy. And have joy in whatever season, in whatever circumstance.
Yes,
And you can learn to love every bit of you. And then on that, with that, extend grace to others as well.
Yes.
Realize we are all on a journey. No one has arrived yet. None of us will arrive, actually. Yes, and realizing that with every person, and they may be on a different journey than you, on a different season.
Yes, yes.
So you have to extend the same grace and the same love that you offer yourself to others. And if everyone did that, we will live in a very amazing, beautiful world. Yeah, like it's Mother Teresa who says, sweep the outside of your world and the house and the house. Sweep the outside of your house and the world will be clean. Wow. Let's sweep all these other things that we've put on ourselves. The society has dumped on us, our parents, our friends, or whatever. Sweep it off. Invite the Creator. He will clean it up for you. And before you know it, you're living in a very comfortable home.
Wow.
Yes,
what a beautiful way to end. Live with yourself. Come back home to yourself.
Yeah.
You know, when your home is home. I don't know how to describe it, but home is simply home.
Where the heart is.
Yes. Simply home. And when you're home, you don't need anything else. You don't need to add anything to what you already are. Your description of authenticity has come out very powerfully. That all things that you think you're chasing out there, you already have them within because you were not created with insufficiency. If there is anything I need to get from you is the thing that makes us connected. So if you bring your perspective, I bring mine, then we in sync. Interestingly, we have not had this conversation before, but it's amazing how we have just you've just done it very nicely. And it tells you that when you come back home to yourself where there is no mask, the truth that you need to bring out will come out naturally without a struggle.
Yeah.
That's it for today from the Sylvia Correa podcast. Let's meet in the next episode. Have a lovely day.